So at the end of the day, it's not about the run. So we start and there's a finish line. And for me, it's about who we're choosing to be in the moments in between. And that applies to the whole game of life. So who are we choosing to be? Who am I choosing to be in all the moments of the day? And when we consciously choose, then the ripples of light spread out to everyone around us, and it helps everyone to remember the light that also exists within them. So we look at the facts. I had a broken toe, and it was 8 weeks before the event. So it takes 6 solid weeks to heal. The wildfires compromised the air quality, also destroyed so much land. And I didn't have any experience. I didn't have previous 100-mile experiences. So I had every reason and every excuse not to go. And if I listened to that fear part of me, I would have probably not gone. And I even considered canceling. But then there was a part of me that just kept calling me forward to step up into the experience, because it wasn't about the outcome, but it was about who I was being in that experience, and being an emissary of light and shining a light no matter what happened. Expect the lions and tigers and bears of an experience to actually show themselves. And we have that opportunity when they come along, when the situation comes along, to either throw in the towel or to continue on to figure out how you're going to make it happen. Since the spring, this area has had absolutely no rain. And wouldn't you know it, the day of the race, it poured. And it rained so much that the earth couldn't possibly absorb the amount of water. So it created a mud fest. And literally, the mud was so thick that it actually caked all the traction of our sneakers, and it became like an ice skating rink of mud. So when we were climbing up what they call Goat Hill, people were actually rolling down. There was nothing to grab onto, completely covered in mud. So you've got to expect that the unexpected is going to happen. And pardon my language, but also shit happens. And I mean, from the bowels of my being emerged and was dislodged this dark matter we call poop. So much so that I had to go 14 times during that 100-mile race. And I mean, seriously, I can't imagine that I was so full of shit, but I was. And I actually see that as sort of on a spiritual level of me releasing energy, darkness that no longer serves me, that I do not need to carry anymore, because there's no other explanation for this. And, you know, I was lucky and smart enough to, in my drop bags, have extra clothing, which really came in handy, extra sneakers, socks, trail toes, and hand warmers. So on a practical level, my advice to anyone that doesn't have a crew and perhaps doesn't have a pacer and is using their drop bags is to prepare for any and all conditions. The one condition I didn't really prepare for was to have to go to the bathroom that many times. But other than that, I had 3 extra pairs of sneakers, which I used, all of them, extra socks. They say that it's darkest before the dawn, but I will say to you also that it is the coldest right before the dawn. And so we started this race at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I crossed the finish line 29 hours and 8 minutes later. So you're going, and there's only 10 and a half hours of daylight during the day, so you can imagine how much darkness there was, how cold and wet and rainy. So at one point, for most of the race, I actually had on my long sleeve shirt, my skirt and all the gear is in another video, which you can go back to. We can provide a link here. But I had on 3 jackets, a down hat, gloves, and hand warmers. So I actually used the hand warmers in my gloves, but I put them one inside my sports bra and one inside my abdomen because it was that frigid cold. And so one of the reasons why I was that cold is because for 60 of the 100 miles, I was not able to run. I had to power hike because every time I tried to run, I had to poop. So the only choice I had was to power hike in order to reach the finish line. So whether people know it or not, I am putting out an energy 100% of the time from the start line to the finish line and beyond. And this is pretty much how I live my life. It is a conscious connection to the community, and it's the community within myself, that which is divine, but it's also the community of everything and all that is. When you're in a fully connected experience, no matter what happened, and shit always happens, there will always be lions and tigers and bears. There'll be always challenges. It's how we respond to those challenges and how we respond to each other and connect to each other and to all that is that matters the most. So the heart of the matter is that it really is about the heart of the matter. Remember that you have the ability, it just depends on pacing yourself. And there is a quote that pace yourself, an elephant can be eaten one bite at a time. And it is true that the journey of 100 miles is really very doable, one step at a time. But it's how we speak to ourselves and what we're telling ourselves in every moment about the condition we're experiencing. So are you cursing the darkness or the rain, or are you embracing it and seeing it as a great adventure? So for me, I see it all as sometimes quite hilarious, and sometimes I look up to the heavens and go, really? You gotta be kidding me. But it will happen, and there will be challenges. So prepare, and in advance, tell yourself how you're gonna handle the unexpected. And if you handle it with lightness and laughter, but being aware of the conditions that you're experiencing. So on a serious level, I'm constantly assessing whether I need electrolytes, whether I need calories. Am I feeling lightheaded? Do I need water, food, calories? Do I need to take care of my body? Am I getting cold? Do I need to put another layer on? Do I need to change my shoes or socks, or both? So be prepared in the practical realm, but also prepare yourself mentally, because when you're prepared and you have that strength inside you, you can accomplish anything. And it's a joyful journey.